Yeah. For that reason, I would like to do more of it. I must admit, I'm slightly nervous of my abilities in terms of the bigger picture.
Okay.
Because I don't particularly think about the set or the lighting or
you just think about
what we're saying with this story, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think probably I worry about that too much, and that maybe takes care of itself a bit more than I think it does. If you're working with a good team.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, watch this space, I guess.
Hello everyone, I'm Michael Lumbey and you're listening to Drumbeg Studio Podcast. I have to admit, I am finding the jingle at the start of this week's show a wee bit addictive. Sorry for that, but that's my own worry. None of you guys need to be concerned about that. You may have gathered from the start of this week's show that we're going to be chatting to Dundee ensemble actor Emily Winter. She has been part of the ensemble at the Dundee Rep Theatre for over 20 years. It's quite fitting that we're interviewing her at this time of the year when the Rep this year are celebrating their 80th birthday, which hence the reason why we started this season with Ewan Donald, another actor who is part of the ensemble group at Dundee Rep. In this week's show, we will also have music from Molly Hall and the Cosmic Starz' latest single, You Do You and I'll Do Me, which came out on Friday, the 4th of October. But this is the Carloways with Crawling Back. That's the Carloways with Crawling Back here on Drumbeg Studio Podcast. Yet another fantastic band to come out of Perthshire. The Carloways are an American rock band from Bridgevern, and that song Crawling Back came off a self-titled EP which they released last summer 2018 in July. And they recorded it at the 45 A-Side Studios in Glasgow. That song, Crawling Back, was also used as a title track and soundtrack for the Belladrome Festival back in 2018. Just want to say, guys, many thanks for letting me play that song on my show. All the best with your future. I know that they're working on new music, so keep your eyes peeled on their Facebook page and also on the digital media platforms. I must say, you can find the full track of Crawling Back plus their EP and their latest music on Spotify and all these sort of places as well. Now it is time to meet this week's special guest. Joining me this week is special guest actress Emily Winter.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks very much.
Good.
Good to get the response, shall we say. I want to ask you to begin with what life was like growing up and what did you dream of becoming?
Well, I was born in Dorset, down in the southwest of England. I was there for a year, so I don't really remember much about it, to be honest. And then we moved to Somerset, as you might say if you were from down there.
Yeah.
And at the age of 8, we moved to Wiltshire.
Okay.
So I came from the West Country, I used to have an accent like that.
Did you?
I did. Very strong one, yeah. And what did I dream of? I don't know. I certainly didn't dream of becoming an actress. I think, actually, I don't really remember from a young age what I wanted to be. Like some people say, I want to be a fireman. Or
Yes.
I don't really remember that. But I do remember kind of falling in love with my best friend's oldest sister, who was training to be a teacher, and she was the coolest person I knew. She wore espadrilles, and she had a parasol in her bedroom in the corner of the room, and I just thought she was amazing.
She was the queen.
She was, yeah. So that kind of made me want to become a teacher.
Well, it can be seen as some form of performing in front of kids,
Yeah, indeed. My mum loved Doris Day.
Okay.
So we used to watch a lot of Doris Day movies.
Right.
And I did love them, and I think I wanted to be the characters in the movies rather than thinking I could actually act them out. I just wanted to be those people.
Them, yeah.
I wanted to be Calamity Jane.
Oh, that's nice. So, how early in your life did you take the strong interest in performing in general, and then ultimately it leads down to the line of becoming an actress, but just the performing aspect in general?
I suppose I grew up in a very small village.
Okay.
And like a lot of villages, I'm not sure if it's the same now, but back in the day, because I'm so ancient, the heart of the village was the church. Everything kind of revolved around the church.
Right.
So whether you were religious or not, you would go to Sunday school, and you would go to the brownies and the guides, and because that was really all there was on offer. And so I suppose through that, I kind of got involved in different groups and maybe singing songs in the choir and things like that.
Yeah.
My uncle bought me a guitar when I was 16.
Okay.
And I taught myself to play, not particularly well. I still play at the same level I used to play then. However, in saying that, I've had a lot of work from it, and I started busking.
Right.
When I was 16, I used to hitch. Now, children, if you're listening, don't do this because it is very dangerous. But I used to hitch into Bath because the public transport in the West Country still is appalling, and it was terrible then. There wasn't any, basically. So I would hitch into Bath, which was my nearest city.
Okay.
And I would busk. And I made quite a lot of money from it. And I also got gigs. People offered me gigs. My first ever gig was at the Fry's Country Club. So I played a gig in front of a big audience of people wearing Stetsons and Spurs and expecting like proper country music. And I did play a lot of kind of country music, but it was a bit more middle of the road, like the Carpenters and John Denver, rather than your, real country. But yeah, so I guess that was my introduction into a form of performance.
Yeah. We're going to be catching up with Emily in just a bit, but it's time for some more music. This is Molly Hall with Fall Asleep.
You said it was an accident, but we both know that's a lie. My phone lit up as well as my eyes. How can you say you've fallen and never talk, and promises faded, your feelings stop? Oh, a minute turns into a day. We're just pushing each other away. Does it hurt me as much as it hurts you? Or are we torn in two? Oh, I can't take it. It's only been a couple days, emotionally naked. And open up to me, tell me what we could be, as I'm talking to you late at night. I'm talking to you late at night until I fall asleep. Your words confuse me. I doubt everything you say. I'm so lost in all of those games you play. When summer ends, you go too. I'm ignoring my heart, I'll let go of you. A minute turns into a day. We're just pushing each other away. Does it hurt me as much as it hurts you? Or are we torn in two? Oh, I can't take it. It's only been a couple days, emotionally naked. And open up to me, tell me what we could be, as I'm talking to you late at night. I'm talking to you late at night. Yes, I'm talking to you late at night. I'm talking to you late at night until I fall asleep.
Welcome back to Drumbeg Studio Podcast. Just before that wee interlude, we of course had Molly Hall with Fall Asleep. Molly Hall is a singer-songwriter from Edinburgh, and that song, Fall Asleep, was released on all digital media platforms on the 7th of November last year. Since the time of that release, she has also released an acoustic version of the song as well as another track titled Next to You. You can find that full song of Fall Asleep plus all her other 3 tracks that she has got up on all the digital media platforms on Spotify and all the other places as well. Just want to say, Molly, many thanks for letting me play that song on my show, and all the best with your future. You can catch up with all the latest gigs and events that she's going to be playing at on her Facebook page. Now we head back to our special guest, actress Emily Winter. So as you mentioned earlier on, you picked the guitar up at the age of about 16. Mm-hmm. Was that you set off in your sights that this was going to be the career that you were thinking of doing?
I don't know that I ever really thought that. I just kind of did it to make money. Right. So I never got a proper job. I just busked because I made about £10 an hour, which was more than most people made in their jobs. So it was worth doing. And from that, I also, as I say, I got a few gigs, and then I joined a couple of bands, right. And suddenly discovered an amazing social life, which I hadn't had before that. I'd been quite a swot up until then, and had worked hard at my studies. And suddenly I was playing in bands and going to all-night parties and forgetting to study. Okay. So I managed to mess up my A-levels. I was taking 3 A-levels, dropped 1, and then, let's not go there. It was all very disappointing. But, I was that was me thinking still that I was maybe going to become a teacher and failed.
But, it sounds like the social life took over and said, this is what you want to do, Emily.
But then I had an amazing guidance counsellor at school who suggested that I should go to drama school. I had no idea what drama school was, not a Scooby.
Right.
And I'd been in one school play by then. I'd played Nancy in Oliver, of course.
Of course.
And and had rave reviews. and so they suggested I should go to drama school. Of course, I had no idea what that meant. And so I was very excited, and I went to audition at drama schools, which I still didn't really know what it meant. My local vicar helped me work on my audition pieces. And my very first audition, I remember, was at Bristol Old Vic, and there was a table of 4 people, and I started my speech. I was doing Lady M, and I think I got about 4 lines out, and they just all shook their heads.
Oh no!
And that was me. Off I went. But then I had 2 auditions, one following after the other the next day. So I was very excited. I got to stay in London overnight, and I was 17 at the time. It was all very exciting.
Very exciting, yeah.
My first audition was at Central School of Speech and Drama, and I got a recall. Now, because I was so ignorant of what any of this meant, I thought that meant I'd got in. Yeah. So the next day...
So you go to the next audition.
The next day I went to East 15.
No preparation whatsoever, no?
No. But completely not caring, because I thought, I'm into Central.
Yeah.
And had a ball, because it was a full day audition at East 15.
Okay.
And just had lots and lots of fun. And then, of course, discovered on my recall for Central that I hadn't got in at all, but got offered a place at East 15. And I'm still convinced to this day that that's why, because I just had not a care in the world and was having lots of fun.
So after a successful graduation, I assume.
Oh, yes.
Yes. What was the plans after that?
Well, I can't remember if there were any definite plans, but at East 15, I met my son's father, and we started dating in second year. So we finished, and he was from Glasgow.
Okay.
So I think, I have a terrible memory, but I think he got offered a job with, I think it was with Tag. Tag Theatre Company in Glasgow. And so I think he got offered the job first, but whichever way it went, we both moved up to Glasgow
So it
together.
brought you up to Scotland.
Yeah. And he went off working on a tour with Bobby Carlyle and Caroline and various other people who, have done that since.
Yes, yeah.
And I got my first job, I recall, working at the Mitchell Library Theatre, and it was a crazy experience because I for some reason, I got offered a job as wardrobe assistant on a Christmas show, having never been a wardrobe assistant in my life. And I worked on that show. It was Peter Pan. And the girl who was the wardrobe mistress, I soon discovered had never been a wardrobe mistress in her life. The two of us became firm friends through this. We ran this show, and I've never worked so hard in my life because the Mitchell doesn't have a laundry. So we had to go around to the Kings to do the laundry in the morning before they would come in. Then we'd had to do all the ironing, and then we had to maintain all the costumes. Neither of us knew how to even thread a sewing machine. So we were doing it all by hand.
Wow.
And then we were dressers on the show, so obviously 2 shows a day. So we weren't finishing till late at night, when we then had to go around and collect all the dirty washing to start again the next day. So that was my introduction to working life in the theatre in Scotland.
A lot different to maybe what it is now.
Yes. Still work long hours, not quite as long as that.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So at what point then did you did you join the Dundee Rep ensemble?
I joined the ensemble at the beginning of the ensemble.
Wow.
So Hamish Glenn was putting together an ensemble. The word had gone out onto the street and it was very exciting. And I was pregnant at the time when I heard about it.
Okay.
And I was at that point where I was wondering how I was going to survive, as a mother and a freelance actor. Mm-hmm. So the idea of a job, which at the time was a 3-year contract,
right,
just sounded absolutely perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So I managed to... I went to... There was a show at the Sits at the time that Hamish had directed, and I went along to see it and schmoozed a bit and told him that I was interested. And I was lucky enough to be offered a part.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and the rest is history.
History.
Yeah, amazing. It's been an amazing journey to go on.
Might think that we are gone. Good times come and good times go. Two lost souls who've been cheated on, searching for a home. Then one day we met upon a winding road where we wrote this song. It's here and now that we both belong. Start our story now. You can never take goodness from me. Don't pin my blame on society. I'll never bend down, you're not royalty. So you do you, and I'll do me. Took a left, hit from dusk till dawn. Slept all night in a place we don't belong. Walking through the unknown for so long. When will we know? But you're still there. I can hear your voice ringing aloud, polluting my choice. Just make it stop so we can all rejoice and end this battle now. You can never take the goodness from me. Don't pin my blame on society. I'll never bend down, you're not royalty. So you do you, and I'll do me. That's the Cosmic Starz. You do you and I'll do me. Their latest single, which came out on all digital media platforms on Friday the 4th of October. That song is incredible, and it was great to be part of the Cosmic Starz band and to be producing music for the first time, a new single in over 10 years. It's been great, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. I hope it's going down well with our fans. Now, we turn back to our special guest, Emily Winter, for the final time today. With Dundee Rep celebrating its 80th birthday. Yeah, there must be some incredible memories that you have to look back on.
Yes. I mean, I personally haven't been here 80 years much, though it might look like
No.
I have. But the 20 years that I have been here, yeah.
Okay, shall I say, I'll reword the question. Your 20 years of being here.
Yes.
Looking back.
Yeah. I've got a ton of wonderful memories. Gosh, I suppose the strongest memories are of, the crazy times when Lewis was little and sleeping in dressing room 1 because I didn't have any childcare for him for a little while. And so this is my son. So when he was about 3, 4 maybe, he slept for a while in dressing room 1, and we had posters on the wall for him, and we had a video recorder set up. And I would go in, and he would run around the auditorium while we were warming up for a show in his PJs. And then I would go in and clean his teeth and read him his nighttime story in full costume and makeup, whatever show we were doing at the time. And then put on a film for him to watch and just pray to God that it would keep him entertained. I mean, to be fair, ushers and front of house staff and actors that weren't on stage at that time always kept an eye out and popped in to see if he was okay. There was one instance during Flora the Red Menace when the film stopped and he got up and walked out and actually came through down the vom towards the stage saying, "Mom, the film's finished." Luckily, I don't think anybody from the audience heard him, and Nils, who was watching from the wings, raced round and managed to grab him and get him back into his room and put another film on for him.
God.
Now, you'll be pleased to hear that he's not damaged by these experiences, other than damaged insofar as he's now training to do musical theatre.
Wow.
He's about to go into his 3rd year, so there was never any real hope for him to be going into any other profession.
Yeah, with a story like that, you've got to live it through, haven't you? You've got to stand up to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
So fantastic memories of the musicals always stand out to me, and I think it's probably because it's such a team effort working on a musical. It's not there's loads of wonderful parts, but sometimes quite a lot of the work in that is done privately at home, or, but a musical just doesn't work that way. You've all got to be in it together and working with the musicians and the choreography, and there's just something really special about that, I think.
Well, we've almost come to the end of this fantastic interview. But before you shoot off, there's just one more question for you, and that is, what does the future hold for you at the moment?
It's a very good question, and I'm not 100% sure I know the answer.
That's absolutely fine.
I mean, we know what's happening in terms of the next shows that are coming up here. Emily Mouse's Tales for Christmas, if anyone has any little people that want to come. And as I say, the assistant directing, and then the shows that are coming up after that, Measure for Measure. Into the future, who can say? Hopefully a bit more directing. I don't know. I want to do some more travelling.
That's good. It's a good
which, probably with the whole Brexit thing that's happening, who knows if that's going to be a possibility. Oh no, I mentioned the B word.
It's all right. I stick my head well away from all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. But no, I do have a desire to see some countries that I haven't been to, just because I get 3 weeks off in the summer and 2 weeks off at Christmas, so it's hard to go quite far away.
Yes.
But I want to go to Canada, and I want to go to Japan. So my hope is that in the future we're going to take shows there, and then I'll be very happy.
Yeah. Because what you'll want to do with that is you'll want to direct them. Because if you act in them, you won't have much spare time for going on holiday.
Absolutely.
But if you're doing the directing,
yeah,
you can just sort of make sure the guys know what they're doing. They can do their dress, and you can sod off. And you can head off. You can head off and go and enjoy yourself. Yeah.
Yes, this sounds perfect. Okay, we'll have that as the future.
That'll be the future. Well, thanks very much.
Thank you.
That's been fantastic. I hope you've enjoyed yourself.
I have indeed. Thank you for
the main
chatting
thing.
to me.
You're very welcome. Well, there you go, as ever. A big thank you to Emily Winter for giving the fantastic opportunity to get that interview done. That was incredible. We chatted for a very, very long time that day, and there is still plenty of chat that we sadly couldn't fit in the show today. But it was just amazing. We were just sitting there for 45 minutes just chatting away. That was fantastic. All the best, Emily, with your future, the future that whatever that holds. at the Dundee Rep Ensemble, and maybe you might head out to Canada or whatever. That'd be fantastic. As ever, that's all we've got time for. We have run on a little bit longer than usual. I do apologise for that. Join me next time for my next special guest and some more amazing music. Until then, see you next time.